Tag TV and Tag Radio be seen and heard by both technology users and technology producers throughout the state of Georgia and around the world. Low cost, big benefits, powerhouse online branded video and audio has arrived. Tag TV, Tag Radio, there's a lot more to know. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. In today's global interconnected economy, how do you find your way? At one time, information was scarce and valued. Today, information is not only abundant, it's overflowing. Sometimes it seems we're drowning in information, yet constantly increasing our generation of it. So the key question arises, how do you find your way? Is there something else that's scarce and desirable? There is. Reputation. What you stand for is the powerful truth that stands out in a sea of information clutter. Greetings, everyone. It's Friday, March 2nd, 2012, and this is a special Tag Premier Member Focus Showcase edition of Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. Up to the Premier Member Focus, we proudly showcase the way. Well, one outstanding company's way. 7 things they stand for that has made them one of the industry's leading management and IT strategy consulting companies in just a few short years. Jabian, the Jabian way. Business before technology, people before everything. Brilliance matters. Failure is not an option. Love what you do, give back locally, and develop local advocates. Oh, and yes, there's the 8th wonder of the way, Jabian's guaranteed success. In Focus Tag Premier Member, Jabian, as Tino showcases the management and technology consulting firm as he speaks with Fred Jewell, Jabian Executive Director who leads the firm's human capital practice and its passion about change management, organizational design, leadership, and culture. Fred's 22 years consulting career in IT information and change management has resulted in key leadership positions in IT outsourcing, on- and offshore delivery center, software process improvement, technology transformation, and the dynamic and ever-fluid demands from change management. Drowning in information? Look for a company with a reputation that not only stands out, but takes a stand. The Tech Talk Tag Premier Focus is on the Jabian way. As Tino speaks with Executive Director, Jabian Consulting, Fred Jewell.
Fred, thanks for joining me in Tech Talk today.
Thanks for having me.
Jabian's a great Premier Member Tag, very active in the community. I think that many people that will be listening in today know a bit about Jabian, but bring it to life. What's Jabian Consulting do, and then talk a little bit about your role with the company.
Sure. Well, we're a locally focused management and technology consulting firm, so strictly focused on the Atlanta market right now. We have about 60-plus consultants that average about 10 years of experience, all focused on a variety of delivery components. And, you know, we really focus on a couple of things as a firm. One, we're really trying to improve not only just deliver the work that we're doing, but also kind of leave something behind with our clients. So we try to improve the engagement that people have in the work that they're doing, and really help them hopefully enjoy what they do more than they did before we got there. We also bring a bunch of frameworks and methodologies to the work that we do that help clarify the problem or the opportunity that our clients are facing and help us get a jump start on the work. So as for my role, I am focused on our human capital practice. I lead that. I'm an executive director here and do a lot of work in change management, organization design, and culture.
Well, speaking of change, it's fortunate that today we're having this interview at a time where there's a bit of an uptick in the stock market. We're over 13,000. Hopefully it stays there. With that change from what's been in the past where you guys have had to probably do a lot in terms of ROI and transition and downsizing, and certainly some of that won't go away, but with respect to the transition to a better economy. Is that different for a company like Jabian in terms of how you approach things or what companies are asking for today?
Well, yeah, the last few years obviously have been tough for a lot of individuals and businesses, around Georgia and around the country. We're hearing a lot of things in the press and what have you around the effects on, the unemployed, but we don't hear much about the effects of the economy on people who are working. Companies have been pushing their people to do more with less for a long time. We hear about productivity continuing to increase, the number of hours that people are working continuing to increase. We're looking for underneath every rock that we can to find, growth in what is really a low growth environment. And that's really been a burden on the people that work in those companies. So as we continue to climb out of this recession, what has become very difficult environments in many of our clients, people are starting to look outside their organization at other opportunities. So retention of top performers is going to be a key challenge for a lot of companies in the next couple of years, and it's going to be really important for companies to find a way to get ahead of that.
And it's interesting because we see that there's over 4,000 jobs open in the technology space, but and then there's a 9.7% unemployment rate. But when you do a deeper dive, you see that really the unemployment in the technology community in terms of people that are ready to jump in these jobs is less than 3% in Georgia. So and now with the market heating up, as you mentioned, people in these jobs are going to get more opportunities to move ahead. So does Jabian actually get involved with helping, you already mentioned this, but or how do you get involved with helping with retention and motivating? I mean, what are a couple of the tricks of the trade maybe that you can share, kinds of things you're focusing on today?
Yeah, it's funny. Back in the dot-com era and even before this recent recession, a lot of companies were able to motivate their employees with significant growth, prospects of big wealth generation. Two things have really come together to make that harder to do. First, of course, the economy has conspired against us there. It's limited the prospects of the wild growth that we saw earlier in the ability of companies to do big pay increases and bonuses and options and what have you. And secondly, we've seen a shift in the demographics of the workforce, and a lot of us have heard about this over the years. People want more than just financial rewards. They're looking to see how their work is having an impact on somebody else, whether it's their customers, their suppliers, the people that they work with, or even just the general population at large. So we're taking kind of a two-pronged approach to change that way. We need to really look at, of course, the rational, logical, and quantitative reasons for a particular course of action or a project, and that's usually based on some ROI or our financial basis. Of course, because our clients need to justify the investments that they're making, but that's usually not enough to really motivate people and get them excited about the work that we're doing. We're finding really that the rational, logical, and financial reasons for a project or a strategic initiative really don't resonate as well with the general workforce as they do with the executive suite. In fact, it usually misses the mark completely. Data and fact-based kind of arguments are really not motivating. So what we do is spend a lot of time working with our clients to get at the emotion behind the initiatives that they're working on. We want to try to help them find why they're doing what they're doing from a more holistic perspective. What's this effort going to do in terms of translating into something better for people somewhere further down along the value chain? And if we can find those things and talk to the workforce about those things, people get more excited when they know that their efforts are eventually going to help somebody else or, really in some way move the economy, move the world forward in some meaningful way.
We've talked a bit about, the company side of life and how the company with Jabian support can motivate their employees at all levels, from senior management to the programmers, and different tactics in terms of figuring out ROI and project success. How about if for the people listening in that are on the workforce side that have jobs as systems engineers or Java or anything in relation to, the technology piece. A lot of times there's a focus on the skills that they need coming in, those kind of hard skills that they have. But there's a lot more discussion now around soft skills. Do you guys focus at all on that area in respect to supporting the company?
Yeah, we do. We look at a couple of different things. One is leadership generally, and what teaching leaders and managers within businesses to the tools and techniques that they ought to have at their disposal to be better leaders, be better managers. But at the individual level, the real thing that we focus on is influence and understanding helping people understand how, when they're in a position where they don't have formal authority, where they don't have a hire or fire capability, but yet they still need to work with people across the enterprise in ways that are really important for the success of any given project. We're working with them to understand, what are some of the tips and techniques that they can use from an influence standpoint to be more effective. So, and that ranges all the way back from things around building relationships and making sure that people are comfortable with that and know how to do that and recognize the importance of people knowing them in order for people wanting to be able to help them. Looking at how they can motivate people to start a project, to take some action on their behalf, and then how to actually get people to follow through. And there's a variety of techniques that are out there that, if you apply them successfully, can help drive those programs forward. And then, you got to be able to sustain what you started. And a lot of places kind of forget that. We'll do some of this stuff up front to kind of get things moving, but we don't focus enough on what it takes to maintain that momentum and sustain that change all the way through, so that what it is that we're developing, what it is that we're rolling out to our user base is actually adopted. And then, once people have mastered many of those techniques, we work with them to say, okay, here's what it takes to really be a leader, to maintain that momentum going forward.
Well, Fred, we're out of time, but I do appreciate everything that Jabian does as a Premier Member with TAG and the work that you're doing for Georgia. And as you said early on in the conversation, you're focused on our community, which I think is terrific. And thanks for joining me on Tech Talk today.
Thanks a lot for having me, Tino.